What's going on, everybody? It's Monday, August 1st, and this is the College Football Daily. I'm your host, Nick Kosko. Special guest here today. Get to welcome in Indiana football head coach Tom Allen to the program. Indiana coming off a rough season in 2021, but things could be looking up in 2022 as they look to get back near the top of the Big Ten this coming fall. So I'm pleased to welcome in now head coach Tom Allen. Coach, first of all, pleasure to talk to you. I want to start out with that comment I just mentioned right there. It was a rough 2021 for you guys, but it just seems like 2022 might be very different for your crew. What is the biggest difference between last year's squad and now this one going into the fall?
Well, we sure hope so. Last year was tough, and I think the thing that made it so difficult was it was the opposite of what we expected. So much anticipation, so much build up into the season with the guys we had coming back, and rightly so. Those guys had done a great job in 2019, and then had a historic season 2020. But it just didn't work out that way. And sometimes life doesn't go the way we expect it to, and I think the beauty of that is it's how you respond. That's the key. And that's what our guys have done. I think there's been a great response by our football team. A lot of key guys are still back, even from that played in 19, played in 20, experienced 21. And they're like, Coach, it's not going to happen again. And they came to me as soon as the season was over the very next day. And we sat down together and we talked about some things very, very open and honestly, and wanted to create some changes. But the bottom line is this, it's about, the passion and the fire and the just the intensity of the players and their buy-in and their belief and what they as a player-led team want to do. And I've seen that from day one since January. And so to me, that's the difference from a year ago. And not that we didn't have a bunch of great players last year and things just didn't go our way. A lot of injuries, a lot of things that, sometimes you can't control. But the bottom line is we made adjustments and we pressed on.
I'm sure you've gotten this next question quite a bit at this point because based off of last year, not many are expecting Indiana to climb out of the basement or too far out of the basement in the loaded Big Ten East. As you well know, the Big Four, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Penn State, of course. But what do you say to those critics that's saying, you know what, Indiana maybe not ready to get out of the bottom in 2022?
Well, that's not our expectation. We don't pay attention to that stuff. You can't. I mean, last year we were picked near the top and didn't work out that way, preseason top 20. But to me, it's how you perform each and every week. And that's all that matters. Our guys believe in what we're doing, and all we care about is what we believe. And that is really true. I mean, it's about having that chip on your shoulder and something to prove, but you got to have that edge about you. And to me, that's our way that's how we built this thing here at Indiana. That's how we're going to have a chance to compete at a high level. And as you mentioned, one of the toughest divisions in all of college football. I've coached in the SEC West, now the Big Ten East. I mean, I don't know of any other two that are any better or any tougher. So, but that's where we're at, and that's where we are every single day. And we embrace that, and we got to have that mindset. And so I'm excited for our team. But more importantly, it's what do they think and what do they believe?
Speaking of the SEC, not necessarily the West, but you got a transfer quarterback in Connor Bazelak coming over from Missouri. He comes into the program this year. What have you seen from him so far throughout spring camp and, of course, the summer going into the fall now? What are your expectations for Connor Bazelak?
Well, Connor came in here after being a 2-year starter at Missouri, threw for a whole bunch of yards in the SEC and did some great things there. So, yeah, just a lot of experience. And you've seen that. He's got a calmness to him, a very poised young man and all that he does. Doesn't get rattled, but has to perform, and has to earn the job. Right now, he and Jack are battling neck and neck. He came out of spring ball. I thought Connor did some really, really good things. He's learned a new system and learning a new team and being able to establish himself here. And he's been here, obviously, since January as a part of our team and into the summer. And so it's a very, very heated competition. But that's what I love. I love guys having to compete and having to show up every day and prove themselves and having to earn this thing. And that's what he's going to have to do. But he brings a very, very talented arm with him. And it's now about making great decisions in our system. Because to me, it's about protecting that. That hurt us last year. We had a lot of offensive turnovers that cost us, whether it was not ball security with the run game or not protected in the pass game, and you can't win games doing that. It didn't create enough takeaways defensively. So quarterback's a big part of that. He touches that ball every single snap. And we expect Connor and Jack, whoever's going to be our starting quarterback, to do a great job of that.
So speaking of Jack Tuttle, you sang his praises actually out in Indianapolis during Big Ten Media Days. And I also noticed that Donovan McCulley has now been switched over to wide receiver. So a bit of a two-parter right here. I mean, what do you like about Jack Tuttle going into 2022, and what's the expectation for Donovan going over to wide receiver this season?
Yeah, first of all, with Jack, I love his passion. Man, what a first-class young man. He's such a high-character guy. He works so hard, and he has busted his absolute tail this whole offseason. So I'm excited for him. And he was a catalyst for coming to me, and he and Cam Jones did a presentation in front of our whole team, and I helped them as they set it up, and they presented it to me. I made some adjustments to it, and then I let them present it to the team on their own. I wasn't in there when they did that. They did a phenomenal job based on the feedback of their teammates, but that's those player-led qualities. You can't you can't make a kid do that, and it's really powerful when it comes from within. So Jack brings that. I love his arm talent. He can make all the throws. He's just got to be able to stay healthy and do a great job protecting that football. And to me, that's really what it comes down to. And then you take a guy like Donovan. I mean, he came to me this offseason, Coach, I want to move to receiver. He said, I want to be on the field. I want to play special teams. I want to be able to, he knew he's probably going to be a backup again at quarterback, and just what that kind of means for you, how you other positions and other things and other opportunities. And so we talked it through and talked to his family and talked to our coaches and felt like that was the best, opportunity for him. So, but he's still going to have a package at quarterback. He's got a tremendous skill set, and he's big. He's close to 6'5" and 220 pounds, and he can run and jump. And we just need to get those kind of guys to football.
So, Coach, switching over to the defensive side of things, you said earlier this offseason you were going to take a bigger role in the defense, going back to calling plays. How did you come to that conclusion, and what made you make that adjustment, and how confident are you in that decision going into 2022?
Well, I'm excited about it. I missed not calling it the last few years, and I know why I did it, and I stand by that. And it was a good time for me to take a step back and just focus on being a better head coach of the team. And both sides of the ball, special teams, with relationships with our guys. And so I feel like now we've got going into year 6. I got a really good rhythm for the head coaching piece and what we're doing, how we're doing it. Got a great associate head coach, assistant head coach to take care of those things. And Mike Doyle helps me with a lot of administrative responsibilities that I have as the head coach. And so I just felt like that we got away from some things that I really love seeing us do and didn't play to the standard that we have defensively. And I just want to make sure, the buck stops with me as the head coach. And this is my area. This is where my eyes go. Naturally, I'm a linebackers guy and a defensive coordinator. That's how I was raised in this profession, and that's how I got this job. And so just want to be able to make sure we're doing the things that can maximize our roster, the talents of our team, and allow us to be able to win football games. So it was just a gut feeling that I had. I needed to be able to retake the play calling of the defense, and I'm excited.
I can really feel your passion for that side of the football, and of course your team as a whole, which leads me to my next question, which is, a lot of the coaches at Big Ten Media Days were actually asked about you because, of course, you guys play the entire Big Ten East. You have some noteworthy crossover games this year as well. But a lot of those coaches were asked about what they thought of you as a head coach, and they pretty much sung your praises. So I was curious about what you actually thought about that. Guys like Ryan Day, guys like Greg Schiano, other guys like that. They love you apparently as a head coach. And what do you say to that?
Well, I appreciate it. You just want to be respected. You fight your tail off to build a program, and this is my home. This place means the world to me. It's been a tough job in the past. I know the history. I was born and raised here, and I understand it. My dad was a high school coach in this state for 30 years plus, and so just to be able to be in an environment where you're the head coach of a Big Ten team in your home state that bears the name of your home state, it's a lot, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate those words. I really haven't paid much attention to that, but I just, everybody wants to be respected for what you do, and I have a ton of respect for this league and these coaches. Every head coach in this league has put their time in and does a great job running their programs, and it's a lot of responsibility. I get that, but I tell you what, we're all blessed. We've been put in a great position to impact and influence and have a great opportunity to represent our universities.
So I don't know if you came across this, but this was also said at Big Ten Media Days. Maryland quarterback Taulaia Tagovailoa said a Big Ten championship is the expectation for the Terrapins, and anything short of that would not be a success. So I was curious if any of your guys have thought that, or if they said that, what would your reaction to that? Because it seemed like it was all positive reaction, at least around Tagovailoa, his teammates and his coaches. They seem to embrace that type of mentality. So I was curious as to what you would say if your players came out and said that in front of the media, or just said that in a public setting.
Well, that's the vision of our program. And I said it last year when I was asked about it, and I would have said it this year if I was asked about it, because is pretty clear. We have a simple, clear goal, and that's to win the Big Ten and do it in a way that honors those that put us all here as players and coaches. And I respect that from him, and that's what he should be, shooting after. And there's no difference for us either. The bottom line is that you don't train your whole off season, you don't train your whole life to be in a position to be runner up. You don't train to be, hey, I want to finish third, man. My goal is to be in the middle of the pack. That's not how we're wired. It's not how you think. I get it. Only one team can be at the very top, and we play a lot of great football teams. The whole conference, East and West, is loaded with great players, great coaches, great teams. So, but we're all shooting for that. And at this time of year, I think it's everybody's goal is, right? And but it's, it's one day at a time. And then when the season begins, 1 week at a time as you prepare. And right now our focus is on Illinois.
So with Illinois as the opener, now I'm going to make you jump ahead once more. Just one last time. Last one here for me, Coach. What do you envision this program this time next year in 2023? So if I said to you, Tom Allen and Indiana are going to be blank in 2023, this time next year, what would you say?
Reloading. We got some guys on this team that have been here for several years. I expect us to have a great football season. Then we're going to be talking about guys coming in and taking those guys' places and reloading and reestablishing, what they had set as the standard. And that's why a lot of those guys chose to come back for their fifth year. Some guys could have gone pro. Guys like Tywan Mullen and Cam Jones and Devon Matthews and Matt Bedford, those guys chose to come back and play a final year here. And I respect that about it because they know that last year wasn't the standard that we'd set in 2019, 2020. So to me, that's what about this program is. But it's a build. We're building. And that's our word for this year because it's not always this. It's not an incline that just never has. Sometimes you go across, sometimes you go back down, then you come back up. And as you build a program that has sustainability, it's going to be able to be at a high level consistently over time.
Indiana Hoosiers head coach Tom Allen joining me on the College Football Daily. Coach, really appreciate the time as always. Good luck this season. Looking forward to seeing a highly competitive team on the field this fall.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate you.
And Coach Tom Allen of Indiana joining me once again on the College Football Daily. It's going to be an exciting season for the Big Ten in 2022. See what the Hoosiers are made of. Got a lot of talent on that squad on both sides of the football. That's going to do it for me. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Nick Kosko 59. Be sure to follow 24/7 Sports on Twitter at 24/7 Sports. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our new YouTube channel as well. That'll do it for me. You have been watching and listening to the College Football Daily on 24/7 Sports.